One of the very important things that we will look at in the third session of this, the first week on PowerPoint, is putting in organisation charts. This is something that will come up in the Level 2 exam for e-presentation. If we skip to the end of this worksheet, it will be something very much like this. So that's something I'm going to show you how to put into a PowerPoint in just a few moments. There's a couple of examples here. There's a more basic, simple organisation chart here, which you'll go at first, and then there's this chart to do, and then there's a third one in the CIA activity booklet, which is also worth having a go at. If you'd like to have more practice, I can certainly arrange that for you. But see how you get on with those three to start with. Just looking at this worksheet, these four words above, after, below and before are very important in terms of being able to describe what you are seeing. In the exam you will see something very much like this, a graphic which you need to recreate. CEO, SVP. CEO is obviously the head of the organisation. Who is below the CEO? The SVP. Who is below the SVP? The manager. Who is after the manager? Manager number 2. Who's after manager number 2? Manager number 3. Who's before manager number 3? Manager number 2. Who is above manager number 2? The SVP, Senior Vice President. So you need to be able to use these words, because these words are actually in PowerPoint, in SmartArt, and that's when you're inserting the boxes and you're connecting these boxes together. You need to be able to describe using these words. Who is above who is below who is before who, and who is after who. Okay, but it's actually quite straightforward once you get into it. One of the elements, obviously, in terms of the exam as well, to be aware of is spelling, capitalization. On this particular graphic, it's all capital letters. The one below is a mixture of uppercase and lowercase. Be careful with your spellings. You're recreating these words. Mistakes could be very costly. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just demonstrate this slightly more complex organisation chart in PowerPoint. Let's get rid of that. Okay, first of all, what we probably want to do is put in a blank slide. That gives us the largest amount of room to work with, because these charts can get quite big. Insert SmartArt, hierarchy, and then we choose hierarchy, and that's going to be the same for all of your practice. This is the type of chart that will come up in the exam. It won't get, these are more level 3 type charts, so it's the hierarchy one that you need to focus on. If we click on hierarchy, and here it says used to show hierarchical relationships progressing from top to bottom. You've got that up-down notion. There's an emphasis on that. So let's click on that. So with that in place, what we need to do is make this look like this, recreating this. So I mean, the way I would do it, and you might have a different approach, is we start off with one on top, who's obviously the head of the organisation, and then we have 4 below him or her. In this case it's a him. So 1 on top and 4 below him. So let's get that done first. 1 on top, so we need 2 more somewhere in here. So if we click on this box, and we need to add a shape, which is under person, and we can add him before or after. If we add him after, we'll go here. We add before, go there. Okay, so we'll add before, and let's add in another one. Try and put another one in here, say. Let's add one after here. Again, click on the shape, add shape, add one after. So we have 1 on top, 4 below. And I prefer to get all of the boxes in place before I start adding the information. What's next? So now we have slightly different. We have 1 under this box, and then 3 under this box. So let's do that. 1 under this box. Actually, what we could do then, just to tidy this up, is delete these. Let's see if actually pressing backspace is a bit quicker. Yes, it is. And press backspace again, it's a bit quicker. So let's just move these up. So we've got some room to work with. Okay. So 1 under here. So we select, add shape. Now, is it after, before, above or below? After or before is on the horizontal. It's left or right. So we don't want that. We want below. So add shape below. Add shape below rather. And there we have it connected. So this person here would be a subordinate to this person here. And next we want, for this Dan O'Brien, we want 3 more under him, and those 3 are on an equal level. So this is Dan's box. We click insert. Oh, sorry, we go to design. We want to add a shape. After or before, we don't want those because that's a horizontal. We don't want above because it's not above Dan, it's below. So we go below him and we add the first box. Now we want to add another one, so we're going to get 3 below him. So let's click on him again, because we want to add it below him, not below him. Add shape, and again add below Dan, and again click on him, and we want to go add shape below. So now we can start typing in the information. CEO Paul Smith. One of the things about this is sometimes you'll have to enter the information on 2 lines. If I press enter here just to go to the next line, which you would normally in Word, that will cause a small problem, and let's see what that does. Enter on its own does this. It does sort of change the font size quite significantly, so it's not great. So if we just go back, if you press shift and enter, it's slightly bigger, and then we want Paul Smith, and just check it's uppercase and lowercase, that's fine. Here we have COO Tony James, so let's add him in. COO capitals, and then shift and enter. Tony James. Next, CFO Linda Jones. CFO. Shift and enter. Linda Jones. Next, VP of Engineering Dan O'Brien. VP of Engineering. Shift and enter. Dan O'Brien. Spelling. At this stage we might want to make these a little bigger because we have actually got the room to make these bigger, so that's better, isn't it? Next, VP Sales Scott Burns. VP Sales, shift and enter. Scott Burns. Under the COO, Personal Assistant Jane Gomez. Personal Assistant. So shift enter Jane Gomez. And next, the 3 subordinates to Dan O'Brien. Search Marketing Jerry Chu. Shift and enter Jerry Chu. Next, Email Marketing Manager Rich Lord. Email Marketing Manager. Shift enter. Rich Lord. And finally, Webmaster, MSc Gris. Webmaster, Shift Enter, oops, Shift Enter, MSc Gris. Okay, so there you have a chart. Now what's that? That looks okay, I think, in terms of the spelling, EMESEGRIS, so we can ignore that. And everything else looks spot on. So that's an organisation chart. That's a slightly more complex one, and that's about as complex as it's going to get in the exam. You'll see something very similar. Just being able to read the graphic, really. Who's above, who's below, who's before, who's after. Capitalization, spellings, making sure it's accurate. Okay, so that's organisation charts.